G4ia, presented by EB Games and Jeep.
Coming up next, the Screensavers, followed by Pulse at 8 and the Electric Playground at 9.
Tonight, mod your Xbox without ever opening it. Plus, Los Angeles Laker Rick Fox, and strap on some robotic legs to become a superhuman soldier. I want those. Live from the Tech TV studios in San Francisco, it's the Screensavers! Yeah!
Screensavers. I'm Patrick Gordon.
And I'm Kevin Rose. Thanks for joining us on TSS. This is the show that keeps you in close touch with the coolest stuff happening in the world of technology. Now, speaking of cool things, tonight I'm going to show you how you can mod your Xbox without a mod chip, no soldering, no opening the Xbox.
No.
Yeah.
You're serious.
It's going to be cool.
I would like it. Plus, we're going to show you some high-tech robotic legs out of Berkeley you're going to be able to wear someday and actually, well, you know what?
It's cool.
It's cool. And we got LA Laker Rick Fox talking about his passion of sharing remote control cars with the kiddies.
Very cool. And Dan, what are you up to today?
Oh, not much. Just taking your phone calls. Now, for the next few weeks, we'll be airing encore editions of the Screensavers on Tuesdays and Fridays. But we're still taping those shows on those days, so keep those calls coming. The phones are open all day, excuse me, every weekday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. So give us a call. The phone number is 888-989-7879. And also our email address is thescreensavers@techtv.com. Shut up, Sarah.
I'm not laughing.
It's Monday. It's Monday. It takes Dan at least till like Thursday or Friday to get into the swing of things.
But in case you were wondering what he just said, call tomorrow. We need live questions.
Yeah.
We're taping a show even though you're going to be seeing a repeat. Same thing on Friday. Let's start with the tech news that caught our eye today. Sarah,
first story.
Yes. It really wasn't me. I was sitting here silently. It was T. Before you give gamers a bad rap, consider their contributions to the common good of society. Allow me to explain. It was reported that the suspected code thieves of Half-Life 2 have been caught by none other than their own peers. Last October, Half-Life 2 code was stolen and posted online almost 5 months prior to the planned release date. Arrests have now been made worldwide, and ironically, the culprits were found by fellow online gamers.
I'm torn here. I wanted to play Half-Life 2. I was stoked that it was out there, but at the same time, it's not right to break into somebody else's company and steal their games.
Well, the other thing is some people have said that some of the code that have showed up in some of the games that have been released in the last few months, they say some of it has been pulled from Half-Life 2, and that's pushed the Half-Life 2 launch date out another 6 months past that 5 months while they do more cool stuff to make up for the fact that their cool stuff got stolen by companies that looked at the code that these guys scarfed.
That sucks.
Yeah. That's really annoying.
Worldwide, though. I mean, you can't hack anymore. You gotta, they're cracking down worldwide. There's no place you can hide now.
Don't steal,
Don't
kids.
steal.
It's bad. Sarah?
Next story. Anti-spammers have been insisting the internet providers block port 25 for years. Nobody listened, but finally one company has. Comcast announced today that they'll block port 25, which is a network port used routinely by spammers as a means to send out mass emails. The company targeted 5.7 million subscribers who appeared to be sending out large quantities of unsolicited mail. The results was said, the block was said to decrease spam by about 20%, which would be a pretty big percentage.
That's a lot of spam.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing because part of what they're saying is a lot of people they have backdoors, they have Trojans, they've been owned.
Something gets installed on their machine, and all of a sudden it starts sending out spam, and it's most likely going to go through port 25.
And it's an interesting idea. People are saying, hey, it's time to, this is a little brute force and it's a little clumsy, but if we shut down port 25 in these systems, I guess you'll find out if it's somebody's like their mailing lists are sending out for their, cookie recipes, or if it's somebody who's sending out, a couple 100,000 spams a day.
Yeah, the only problem with that, though, is that you can't ever run your own mail server then at home. Otherwise, well, you'd have to change the port.
So say, could you shift it to another port?
You can shift it to another port, but that's going to be a pain.
But it seems like, couldn't you call up Comcast and say, hey, you know, I'm a legitimate mail server?
You would think, but are they blocking everyone, did it say, or just the people that they're suspecting?
I've read some people have said they're blocking port 25. Other reports have said that they're blocking systems, port 25 on systems that are showing suspicious activity. So I'm thinking if you're sending out 100,000 emails a day, probably not a bad idea that port 25 is
That's a good idea. If they can monitor that at the router level and say, hey, this person has just sent, like you said, 20, 30,000 emails, shut them down, block the port, or block their entire account.
No more eBay for you.
That's right.
Or at least eBay requests. What's up next, Sarah?
TechReport.com has exposed some serious performance differences in serial ATA RAID chipsets from several manufacturers, including Intel, VIA, and NVIDIA. Serial ATA RAID, of course, is a common hard drive interface found on many new motherboards. So, guys, why don't you enlighten us a little on some of those differences?
This is pretty funny because we've just started to see this within the last couple of years. It seems that every new motherboard manufacturer nowadays...
Serial ATA
RAID. You know, they want to put RAID on there. They think that's more hardcore. You know, the end user is going to be like, oh, I want the one with RAID, even though I'll probably never use it.
Or even though RAID in a lot of cases can actually have worse performance in a single drive. But you've got RAID, so you can tell your neighbors, I've got a RAID cluster. It's like, ooh,
that's right.
You know.
Well, it's cool. I'm glad that finally someone did a roundup, you know, comparing all the chipsets against each other.
It's pretty serious. Tech Report basically took the SIS, Intel, the M-Force 3, and the VIA technologies, and they benchmark them. Like, I'm showing HD TAC here. Let me scroll down. This is one if you're into this, you should definitely read it, because they went through and they did, see all this up here? HD TAC, read-write speed, burst speed, transfer speed, I/O meter for all the server tests. I mean, it's just, they did a ton, right down to raw file copying tests, and then ran Winstones. Basically, though, the N-Force 3, one of the best chipsets they've ever seen, and leading the
Intel side.
Yeah,
well, that's for the AMD 64 side would be the N-Force 3. For the Intel side, they said, what was it, the ICH5R chipset is the best for the P4 processors.
But the dark horse, the SIS 964, they said they're like, nobody really talks about this one, but the performance was pretty phenomenal apparently across the board.
So what's the website? TechReport.com. People want to read more. Definitely worth reading it, especially if you're considering buying a new motherboard and are looking for some RAID performance.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Good work on Tech Report. Thanks, Sarah.
You're welcome. Have a lovely show. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Jason joins us on the G4 Tech TV NetCam network from Fairfield, Iowa. How you doing, Jason?
Hey, Jason.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Patrick.
You're in Locker Gnome territory, man.
What's that?
Oh, well.
Locker Gnome, Chris Perlow. You know him.
He's from Iowa.
Yeah.
Okay.
he's like,
how can we help you today, Jason?
What?
How can we help you today, Jason?
Oh, I was wanting to know what would be a good program for making web pages. I use Front Page right now, but I've heard that it's not the best.
You could use TextPad if you're kind of into raw, hands-on, you know, finely tuned coding. It's a sign of how old I am.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's good. That's a good way to learn. Are you an advanced HTML user? Or are you someone just, I mean, using Front Page, you're probably first just getting into this?
I'm pretty much first getting into this.
Okay.
I've got a domain name and all that stuff. So.
Nice. Well, Front Page is definitely geared towards the novice. The only problem with it is that it was a standalone company. Then Microsoft bought them. And the second Microsoft did that, they decided to change all the controls in the code to write Microsoft pretty code. What I mean by that is anytime you would write something with embedded tables and cascading style sheets, for some reason, don't know why, it wouldn't look the same in Mozilla. I wonder if that's a Microsoft thing. Well,
nah.
It couldn't be. But
hardly.
I tell you, my favorite program by far has to be Dreamweaver. How much are you looking to spend? Do you have a budget?
I would not like to spend over $200 at the most.
I think this is right around $200. I'll have to check on the pricing, what you can get it for right now. But Dreamweaver MX, have you ever played with Dreamweaver at all?
Actually, I downloaded a trial version.
What do you think?
It's pretty neat, but I really don't understand it because I'm so used to Front Page.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a change from Front Page. All I can say is that the way I learned Dreamweaver, there's a couple different ways for all the newbies out there that are getting into this. One is, my favorite way is to open up Internet Explorer, your standard browser, go into any website that you think is really cool, something that you really like. Let's just say, let's go to my website right here, kevinrose.com. So if you want to figure out how this is made and how it's done behind the scenes, I choose Save As, choose it to your desktop, and then under the Save As file type, choose Web Page Complete on the bottom down here. Right down there, Web Page Complete. Click Save, and that will save all the HTML along with the images and then all you have to do is go inside that folder, right-click, and choose Edit with Dreamweaver. And what that's going to do is that's going to open it up right inside of Dreamweaver, and then you can actually tear apart the code. Take a look at exactly how it was designed. You can start clicking on different objects and see how they're laid out. You can also click on the split view here, which gives you the raw HTML code. When you highlight something in the code, it's going to highlight it on the HTML side of things. See, I'm not even highlighting the HTML right there, but this is a great way for newbies to learn.
Any lower cost, it's a $400 application.
Is it $400 now?
$400.
Are you serious?
$200 upgrade, $350 to $425 online.
That's crazy. You know, I'd have
might be a student discount on that. Worth checking out.
That's worth checking out, but I'd have to do the research. I haven't played with it. I mean, I used to use Hot Dog way back when, but I think that's long gone.
I think we should do a
good time for a roundup. Yeah, let's do that. Play with the 30-day trial, and hopefully within 30 days I'll be able to slide this in somewhere, and we'll get a roundup. I'll play with a few different ones. And
it'd be good to play around with some stuff. And plus there's coding tools that actually come in a lot of the browsers now.
That's true.
See whether or not we'd like any of those.
Yeah, we'll have to play with it. But this is, I mean, if you're serious about web design or you're getting there, you have a company or business, definitely Dreamweaver is the way to go.
Thanks for the call, Jason.
Jason.
Of course, you get a free TSS T-shirt for calling in on the NetCam. We're just getting started. Instead of owning a robot, you could be a robot, or at least an augmented human, with the help of some amazing technology we're going to take a look at a little later on in the show. After the break, mod your Xbox without a mod chip. Kevin's got an outrageous dark tip coming up next. Stay in your seat.
No matter what I do, Spider-Man killed my father. The ones I love will be the ones who pay.
I'm getting married. I can't keep thinking about you.
I'm Spider-Man. No more. There was something I thought I had to do. I don't have to.
I believe there's a hero in all of us, even though we have to give up the thing we want the most.
He's behind the mask.
Story continues June 30th. Rated PG-13.
G4 Tech TV. Stay connected. For more information, go to g4techtv.com.
It's been about a year and a half now since I first showed you how to mod the Xbox here on the Screensavers. Modding, for those of you that are new to the scene, is replacing the default Microsoft software, allowing you to do things like back up your games to your hard drive and run them from your hard drive, or turn your Xbox into a media center or file server. So I wanted to show you the old process of the way we did things before, and that was using a mod chip. And this requires opening up the Xbox, soldering the mod chip on the motherboard. Now, there's still some advantages to having a mod chip on your Xbox. It's a little bit easier once you get it installed.
Right.
But the new process, no chips, no soldering, no opening the Xbox whatsoever. But you do need a few things, and you have one of them in your hand. You need. Let me go through the list of things you're going to need. First thing you're going to need is a copy of MechAssault. You definitely need that. Not MechAssault 2, the original MechAssault. You can pick that up for about, I got it for what?
$16.95.
$16.95. Not bad. Next thing you need is this little device right here. This is a Phantasy Star Online converter. That converts. It plugs right into your Xbox, and it's going to convert it to USB, so that if you take your controller like this and push it down right there, you have a USB port right on the end right there. Now, this is for Phantasy Star Online. It's not supposed to be used for modding your Xbox, but
this is getting very like MacGyver. Like, you need a copy of MechAssault, a USB adapter, and 3 tea leaves and a bottle of gin. And it's like, what?
You do need some funky stuff. This one here, the cool thing is that you can order this adapter from Microsoft for free.
Right.
Is if you tell them you own Phantasy Star Online, they'll send it to you for free. So you just go on that little web form. I have a link to it and all that good stuff. Next thing you need is a nice little thumb drive. Most thumb drives will work. There's a couple of them in there that we list that won't work with this, but this one here just happens to be a combination MP3 player / thumb drive. The MP3 player does nothing. I just happen to have this one laying around.
Sheer accident.
Plug this in here to the top here, and then you have your controller with a USB thumb drive full of storage on here. Now, what you want to do is you want to find the MechAssault hack. There's a hack out there, an exploit for MechAssault, that you want to copy to your USB thumb drive. That's why you have it. You hook this into your computer first, and then you copy that over, then you have it installed on here, and then you can plug it into your controller, which is then going to be accessible through your Xbox. So let's just say you start your Xbox up here, and you go into the memory, and you go into the controller here, and you're going to see that the exploit has been copied here. Here I happen to do the Linux installer here, but you can there's a couple different exploits that are available. You find this offline. Go ahead.
So did MechAssault? I mean, did Microsoft like beat the people who developed MechAssault with a stick?
That is a Microsoft game, so they beat themselves.
Yes. Stick?
Yes. And
that's so nice of them.
It's MechAssault. There's also another one, 007, but they fixed it in later versions. So what you do here is select this game copy, copy it over to your Xbox hard drive, just like you would any other game save. Once you've done that, then you can reboot the machine and put MechAssault in here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up here, put MechAssault in, and it should launch here in just a second. It's going to launch MechAssault, and then it's going to see that new game save that has been saved to your hard drive, so that it's been copied over. No need, you don't really have to worry about the memory stick much longer after that. Here it goes right here, Microsoft Xbox, standard, unmodded. I disabled the mod chip in mine so that it would say the Microsoft logo still. And MechAssault's going to load right up, and then you go into the campaign option, and you'll notice that one of the saved games is called Run Linux. And once you run that, it is going to start Evolution X. And Evolution X is the replacement desktop. I'm going to take this out here so that I can boot into it, turn this off, cycle the power, and then we'll show you what Evolution X looks like. I'm going to simulate it here because I don't want to overwrite any of my files since mine's already been done. Right. We'll start it up here. It'll take you right into Evolution X. Now, Evolution X is, like I said, the replacement desktop. It gets rid of that whole green screen. You'll notice when this boots up here, you're not going to see the X2. That means that my mod chip is enabled and working. So here's Evolution X. And what this is going to allow you to do at this point, once you've gotten this far, is go into the system utilities and choose the settings. Now, you want to hook a LAN, hook this up to your network, plug it into your hub, and give it an internal IP address. Here I gave it 192.168.1.50, and then you're going to take your computer here, I have set up on our desktop here, and you're going to type in, give it another internal IP address. I put here 192.168.1.51. And that's the desktop computer that I'm using here. So once I set this up, I'll be able to talk to my Xbox. I can FTP right into my Xbox and then overwrite the files. Now this is completely without a mod chip. Right. The only reason mine had that is because I already have it installed. Right. So you copy those files over. There's another exploit that you need to copy over, a few different files. It's all in the article. There's several files that you need to acquire and copy over. Once you do that, you're going to have a modded Xbox, and then you'll be able to go back in. You'll be able to sign games. You can go into things like launch menu. Here's backed up games. You can see here that you can just select any game that you want.
You've loaded these games.
I've loaded these games.
They don't magically appear.
No, these don't just magically appear on your hard drive. These are games that I own that I actually put into the device and then backed them up. Also things like the Xbox Media Center. You can play all different types of media files and video. Really cool one that came out I'm going to show in a few weeks. It's so much better. So many different things you can do it. For detailed instructions and links to all the stuff I talked about today, check out my article, kevinrose.com. It's all up there.
Very cool.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
No soldering required.
And you don't have to reinsert the MechAssault disk every time.
Once you get it all hacked and done, you won't have to mess with MechAssault. And I forgot to mention, the coolest thing, though, is the Linux distro you can put on here as well. Awesome. Web browsing, file server, you name it. Linux distro is the way to go. That's what I did with mine. I didn't even mess with this. But
thanks, Microsoft.
Thank you very much.
Nicely done. Still to come, we're going to check out a robotic suit that gives you superhuman strength. And up next, Chris is looking for the best option for broadband cable, DSL, satellite. What should he choose? We're going to tell you all about it when the screensavers continue.
Don't forget to register for the Screensavers LAN Party.
Powered by NVIDIA.
The game is Novalogic's Joint Ops multiplayer demo. Like many other first-person shooters, this game is packed full of weapons, 35 weapons to be exact. Plus a slew of vehicles from Blackhawks to Littlebirds, the Striker attack vehicles, and the Mark V patrol boats. Plus, the game allows for 100 players per server.
There's mayhem in a box.
100. That's going to be awesome.
Or very slow.
Is that going to work, Dan? 100 players?
Really optimized netcode, so
really?
It's awesome.
Nice. We're going to get 100 of you in there. So go to g4techtv.com/LAN Party and register for the links to play. Click on the register for the LAN Party link, and it's a 250 megabyte demo.
So start downloading now.
We'll see you Thursday for the Screensavers LAN Party.
All right, Chris Jones is on the phone from, is that Wynn, Arkansas, Chris?
That's Wynn, you got it.
Cool.
Hey, Kevin. Hey, Patrick. How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Hey, first of all, I got to say it was great to see y'all with the merge and everything. You guys staying on the air, it was a really great thing to see. I was really worried about that. You guys, Sarah, Dan, Yoshi, everybody behind the scenes, all props go out to you guys. You give us great stuff every day at home.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We are glad to be here.
It's a good thing.
Yes, for you to be there.
Thanks.
Anyway, my question is, I'm in the market for broadband right now, and I was wanting to know the pros and cons of either going with DSL, cable, satellite. I was wondering if you guys had any suggestions. I'm in a pretty small town, so the speeds are different.
With it being a small town, do you have all the options available to you?
Yeah, that's our first question.
Just now available. DSL just became available.
Okay.
Cable about a year ago. and of course satellite. You know, supposedly they say you can get it anywhere, and I live on a hill, so I could definitely get that.
That's awesome because we didn't get cable and cable broadband in San Francisco until like a year ago.
Yeah,
really. We actually got cable before we got DSL.
That's pretty awesome.
That's cool.
The first of all, we're going to say satellite is if you are in the middle of nowhere, if you are never going to get DSL, if you're never going to get satellite, and you don't mind the fact that the latencies are so high, because you go from the antenna in your backyard up to the satellite, back down to the earth, and then into the internet, which basically the latencies are so long, it takes so many millions of tens of thousands of a second, so many milliseconds.
Forget online gaming then.
Yeah, you're not going to be online gaming. Great for downloads, great for browsing the web, great for downloading the next 433 Windows updates for Windows XP security holes. Much better than a dial-up connection for that, but horrible for online gaming. So we can do it basically, plus it's expensive, plus it usually requires an external box. It makes it difficult to connect to a router. So
hard to share with other machines you have in the house.
I'd skip satellite.
Okay.
So out of DSL or cable, if you have cable companies on top of it and they maintain the head end, like they don't basically let too many users try to cram onto one head end, cable is generally going to give you the best performance. Pretty much anything, whether you're dial-up, satellite, cable, DSL, you're going to have that's like wherever like 6 p.m. dinner time around your neighborhood when everybody basically gets off the highway, out of their cars, into the house and starts downloading MP3s, like all of them are going to take a hit in the early evening until the later evening.
So there's a traffic jam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it still a problem? You said you were up on the hill. Is it still a problem with DSL as far as the length away you are from the telco? Because I know that used to be an issue.
Actually, that was the problem to get DSL up to this point. They finally got it up here.
Okay.
It just became available here recently, so that's why I was calling. I was going to go with cable, but people have told me that DSL was better, and also I've heard things about the filters that you have to put on with DSL, like for security, for telephones, faxes. I've got a TiVo, so things like that.
Yeah, I mean when they originally installed DSL in my house, which was like 3 years ago, they had to put one filter on the main line, and everything else ran through that. Depending on what DSL system they use, you shouldn't really have too much of a problem with filters at this point. I mean, it's never been that annoying of a problem. Basically, you kind of already started the thing you should do, Chris, is start talking to your neighbors. Anybody who's got cable, anybody who's got DSL, ask them to do throughput tests, ask them how they feel about it, ask them how customer support is. Do you already have cable? Is it going to cost you $55 a month for cable plus another $40 a month for broadband cable?
Chris, another website you could go to, they're broadbandreports.com. They have the speed tests on there that you can try. And also, there's a message board on there where people all over the country post their results and how they're getting, what type of rates, data transfer rates they're receiving as well. So you might want to check that out and see, how the area is doing.
Yeah, the best thing to do is basically ask around and see what everybody's getting in your neighborhood, what they like best. But generally, cable should give you a larger pipe if it's maintained well by your local cable affiliate.
Thanks for the call, Chris.
Good one.
Now here is Sarah with some info about the next Digital Digs Roadshow.
Digital Digs. Say it 3 times fast.
I'm not going to do it.
If you haven't heard yet, the G4 Tech TV Digital Digs Roadshow is heading to Cherry Hill, New Jersey this weekend. So come on out and meet none other than Yoshi and Dan from the show on Saturday, June 19th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday, June 20th from noon till 5 at the Moorestown Mall. Cherry Hill, right outside of Philly. For more information on this roadshow and future ones, go to g4techtv.com/digital digs. Digital digs. Blah, blah, blah. Don't go anywhere. Patrick talks with LA Laker Rick Fox about, no, not about the Lakers, about RC cars. And after the break, a new robotic technology helps soldiers and rescue crews carry heavy loads over great distances for hours. We're going to take a closer look at that when the Screensavers continue.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton. Coming up in this half hour, I got to sit down with LA Raker Rick Fox and talk to him about his newfound interest in remote control cars and more of your live calls. We're going to answer them. Now, imagine striding through the desert with a 70-pound load in your back, feeling absolutely nothing, free and unburdened. Well, that's the vision behind the Berkeley Lower Extremities Exoskeleton, or BLEEX, if I've got that right. A strap-on robotic legs give an ordinary human an extraordinary amount of strength, carry a huge amount of weight. Joining us is the architect of this amazing technology, Professor Kazerooni. Homayoon?
Nice to see you, yeah.
Director of UC Berkeley Robotics and Human Engineering Laboratory. Now, Welcome to the Screensavers. This isn't it's kind of, we always think of robotics as kind of like moving off autonomous vehicles, in, the DARPA Grand Challenge, roaring through the desert. You're not really looking to replace humans with this project.
No, we believe the state of technology in autonomous robotics is actually lagging, and it is quite profitable or appropriate to use robotic devices with people and augment human capability, physical capability, mechanical capability, and also in terms of information with robots as opposed to replace people with robots. So
probably a lot simpler to make it easier for people to carry more weight and move more than it is to teach a robot how to sort of have cognitive decisions and make good judgment calls.
Exactly. Autonomous robots are not good in unstructured environments, unstructured tasks, but it is a good combination to use robots, mechanical strength, in combination with human intellect. And that will be great for unstructured tasks like walking, going up the stairs, downstairs, and doing tasks that requires human intelligence. So that we found this is the best combination.
Oh, this makes me think that we see the mechanism here on the screen. It reminds me of the Aliens movie with Ridley, and she has the equipment moving. Right. It's obviously your work is funded by DARPA. This is a project out of the Pentagon. Right. But there's probably, where do you see this going in terms of after DARPA or after the military?
Right. Well, as you know, DARPA funds projects that are in infancy. That is to say, they're risky, but they have very large return. So we think this lower extremity exoskeleton can be used for firefighters, can be used for hikers, and also the fundamental technologies we develop in terms of electronics, in terms of control theory, in terms of applications and design. These all can be used for individuals with limited mobility, perhaps in a future.
Because somebody could actually give paraplegic the ability to walk or more of it.
Not at this time. Not at this time. The technology we developed here is basically allows a person to wear this device, and if you have a backpack, basically takes the load of the backpack from you, and the machine will take the load. So that's like a basic building block of this technology.
We talked about this a little bit before the show, the Berkeley lower extremity exoskeleton. It works. It doesn't guide you. So that was the question I had. Are you guiding it, or is it kind of pushing you around?
Basically, the exoskeleton shadows you. If you go forward, the machine will come forward. If you go backward, the machine will go backward. Basically, the machine is a slave of the person. And all it does, it measures its own information from its own device. And then what it does, it predicts, it estimates how to get out of your way. So if you go forward, the machine will go forward.
How much weight is this allowing people to carry right now?
Right now, the machine is about 100 pounds and 9,500 pounds, and it will carry about 70 pounds, and the pilot will not feel much force. And if you increase the payload to like 200 pounds, then the remaining load would be felt by the pilot.
Got it. Yeah. So it kind of splits the difference on the weight on that.
Yeah. It's an assist device. It's a machine that helps the person to carry loads with little, without getting tired.
So you're actually wearing, it's interesting to look at that, the motion. You have an exoskeleton. Right. It looks like it's hydraulically powered. How hard is it to copy? There's so many, you think about the hip joint, the knee joints, the flex of the ankle. How hard is it to emulate human motion?
Well, in fact, all the degrees of freedom on the machine are themselves, the way we pick them up, the way we chose them, the way we design them itself are the components of this research work. So we design a machine that actually mimics the person without actually occupying the person's position, number one. Number two is the control algorithm with this machine estimates how to move around so the person does not feel much force. It won't impede you at all. If you go forward, it will go forward.
It's pretty amazing. The controllers, are there multiple? You have an example of one.
I have an example of a controller here, you can see. And there are several of these controllers all over the legs, and basically they get informations from different sensors and communicate with all the actuators, and the information from here will go to the central computer, and the computer will make decision how to go away so the person does not feel much forces because of the device.
Now, this isn't an off-the-shelf, digital signal processor from TI. This is pretty. Did you guys design this and build it yourself?
This is the fundamental building blocks of a nervous system for the exoskeleton system, and there are many of them all over the legs, and they allow communication between all kind of sensory informations and the computer around the leg.
Was the mechanical issues of the engineering for the legs themselves trivial compared to building the controllers and the software?
No, every element of that was quite difficult, mostly because we're dealing with a person here. The person had to feel comfortable. Sure. So the mechanical elements are also very important because they shouldn't impede the person. They should be rather small. And I really cannot tell you which part of it was the hardest, but I think all of them were equally hard.
Sounds like it was pretty exciting. What's the next step? Where do you guys take it next?
Well, we would like to make this machine a lot smaller. We want to make sure the payload is higher. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure the mission time is longer than what it is right now. We want to make sure the number of sensors and actuators come down. We want to make sure the system is more robust. So we have a list of all kinds of work to do, and this is really the beginning of machines of this nature that we invented at Berkeley.
Wild fantasy. How long do you think it might be before we walk into an REI and backpackers are picking these up?
I think I would predict a few years, a couple of years or 3 years would be the time that you would see machines that backpackers, hikers will wear that stuff. So take from their shoulder would be less.
It's pretty well. So you mentioned it's not powered by batteries. It's powered by a gasoline motor?
It is powered by gasoline, mostly because we thought this machine is subclass of other family of mobile systems like motorcycles and cars. And if this is another mobile system, we might as well make this thing field refuelable. And this is perhaps one of the first refuelable robots that you see, which is worn by a human. And of course, we can always turn into electric powered machine for indoor applications and perhaps other fuels also.
Professor Kazerooni.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Check out more about the Berkeley Lower Extremities Exoskeleton at their website. The address is bleaks.me.berkeley.edu, and we'll have links to that in the show notes. Cool stuff. Stay where you are. Find out if replacing your router's antenna will increase your network speed or lower it. But up next, his team is in the NBA Finals right now. I got a chance to sit down and talk with Los Angeles Laker Rick Fox about his very newfound interest in RC cars. See what he had to say when the Screensavers continue.
Currently, the LA Lakers are getting whipped by the Detroit Pistons in the NBA Finals.
And we say that because we like to torture our executive producer, Paul Block, who is a die-hard Lakers fan.
And Dan, but he only says that whatever team's in the finals, Dan likes.
I don't think so.
But the series was tied.
Big Laker fan.
The series was tied 1-1 when Patrick talked to one of the Lakers, but not about basketball, though. Let's take a look.
Our next guest is an NBA veteran, a Los Angeles Laker, who also happens to have a keen interest in XMODS RC cars. We want to welcome Rick Fox via satellite from Los Angeles. Rick, thanks for joining us at the Screensavers.
You're welcome, Patrick.
I got to ask, I have this vision of I've heard about, football players, basketball players, hockey players. There's stuff in Xboxes, game boxes in their systems. They're traveling from place to place. Are you actually, do you whip out are you guys racing in the hallways with the XMODS cars, the RC cars?
Well, this actually makes me a lot cooler at home as the summer comes, is right upon me here in the next few weeks. This is going to be an opportunity for me and my sons to spend some quality time together. At the same time, participate in the competition over the summer here that Radio Shack has created for those racing enthusiasts. You participate at one of the 10 locations, and if you'd like to go online at xmodsrc.com, you can find those locations out and register and compete against us.
Very cool. So you guys are actually going to be out there, with the rest of the crew out there racing.
Yeah, there are a number of locations. The first one will be in Dallas, Texas. Carmelo Anthony from the Denver Nuggets will be participating there at a Hoop It Up tournament. Mm-hmm. Later on in New York, where I spend my summers in early August, there'll be one there. And so I'm hoping to take my kids down there. We'll get some practice in. I've been practicing already with some of the cars out here. And I've run into a number of them, a little more bumper style, but I should be ready, I think, by the August time to participate.
Practice is always key. How did you become interested in this? Was it primarily something to do with the kids? Did the kids come screaming at you? Or?
Well, every time you come home, with an NBA trophy and championship, the kids want to have a trophy of their own to show off, and this affords them the opportunity to compete against all ages, and at the same time, win a grand prize of a 2004 Acura NSX, which is valued at about over $100,000. That way I don't have to buy them a car when they turn 16.
You just, maybe you can take care of it for them until they turn 16.
Yeah, I do a little bit of that too.
Yeah, just drive it once a week just to keep the oil.
Keep the engine warm. Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, what kind of stuff do you travel with on the road? You know, is there any tech that you figure is crucial in your life? PDA, MP3 players, notebooks?
I have a BlackBerry that I carry with me that is phone/email. I also carry my laptop, my computer, which I do work on internet-wise on a greater scale. Number of books, scripts, movie scripts. What else? A toiletry bag and some clothes.
Keeping it simple.
Picture of the family. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, you know, do you guys ever, you know, do you play any of the basketball video games? Any interest there, or do they just kind of like, you know, you're doing the real thing. Why would I play a video game?
Well, you know what we do? I stay in touch with my kids because each year the NBA Live comes out, and you know I definitely tune in to see if I'm making jump shots or not. And you know, each of my kids will, you know, check me in the game and shoot, you know, 60 times, which would never really happen in a real game. But I end up scoring like 60, 70 points and feel pretty good about myself for a second. But, you know, the ritual around the house is for me to dress up in a referee's uniform, and Vanessa sings the national anthem before they tip off, and then we let the boys go at it.
So it's a real formal event. This is setting a role. To be good, can we actually get a CD so, you know, everybody could actually be, or an MP3, everybody could play Vanessa singing the national anthem before they? I can see a trend starting here.
Well, the kids are quite privileged in our household. I mean, I know the actual rules of the game. In some cases, maybe better than even, you know, some of the actual referees in some cases. But I'm able to officiate, you know, between the boys. They get pretty intense with it, and at the same time, there's no better way than to show pride and to kick it off with the national anthem, and no better person to sing it than your mom, right?
That's a beautiful thing, man. Quick basketball question for you. You know, you've been playing. You play for the Celtics. You play for the Lakers. You've been hammered on people in the league for a long time. Do you guys use computers in training? You know, when you're analyzing the game, is there any way that technology's really impacted the way you play the game, or is it pretty straightforward?
Well, for me personally, now everything has been digitalized, and that we can take, you know, our game and actually take it on the road with us on the airplane, put it in our laptops, watch it in our room. We don't need a VHS setup. You know, in that sense, things are edited a lot quicker, and I enjoy that. It's a lot easier to travel with, you know, 20 DVDs as opposed to 20 VHS tapes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rick, so much for the time. Ladies and gentlemen, RC enthusiast, actor, not to mention member of the NBA's Los Angeles Lakers, Rick Fox. Good luck in the tournament, Rick.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
You're big into the whole, like, off-road trucks, things like that. Would you ever get into the RCs?
I've actually seen people, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen is, like, trophy truck, $250,000, 100-mile-an-hour, 5,000-pound vehicle coming up a trail, and some idiot had his RC truck scooting across the road course at the same time. So this is a really hysterical picture with this kid with his controller, like, ah! And just missed getting squished. I think the driver in the trophy truck.
They're expensive, too.
Yeah. Yeah, like a $400 gas-powered RC car.
Yeah.
Right now, though, I get enough trouble keeping my own truck running.
Yeah. Don't go anywhere. Michael, our next caller, wants to share his Wi-Fi with everybody. You're going to find out how he's going to do it right after these messages.
Michael joins us on the phone from Middleburg, Florida. How you doing, Michael?
Hey, Michael.
Good. How about all of y'all?
Excellent.
Doing great. Audience, how you doing?
Good. How about the camera guys?
Camera guys doing good? Yeah, they're doing good.
Camera guys never speak.
Yeah,
it's like forbidden. How can we help you today?
All right, I'd like to share my wireless internet connection with my community by using a 15 dBi antenna on top of my wireless access point by Linksys, because it has the screw-off antennas. Will that work?
Well, it depends. Basically, what you've got to do is with this one we have right here. I don't think.
Just slide the little jacket off. There you go.
There we go. So basically what we'd say is you want to unplug the main antenna. You want to put basically you're going to use what's called a pigtail to adapt this to some LMR 100 or 400 cable. It's real thick cable.
Right.
And then you're going to connect that to like a 15 dB omnidirectional antenna.
That's correct.
I got a dumb question for you, Michael. Is it a 15 dB antenna that's designed for 2.4 gigahertz signals?
Yes, it is.
You're going to be giving your broadband to all sorts of people in your neighborhood, quite possibly half the county. 15 dB is a lot of gain for an antenna. It should work, not a problem. The higher up you get it, the more likely it is to be line of sight from the antenna to any of the neighbors.
Okay, well, it's really treaty around here. We're putting it on the antenna work. I mean, on my chimney. Would that work?
It'll help. The biggest problem, like 2.4 gigahertz signals, they tend to get absorbed more by trees, buildings, office buildings, sheetrock, brick walls. The more power you throw into it, the more likely it is to penetrate that. But at some point, you start violating the FCC rules, which is why one of the things the FCC does is they mandate that everybody's supposed to have a different kind of antenna on the end of their Wi-Fi card or their routers. And the idea is that it makes it really hard to mix and match antennas. The idea is that you're only supposed to use an FCC-approved antenna with a particular FCC-approved device. What we found out is that basically people create pigtails so you can mix and match and do anything you want. As long as you're not stomping on all your neighbors' 2.4 gigahertz phones and stuff, because you're pumping out 3 watts out of this, and putting it on a huge antenna, it shouldn't be a problem. You're going to have to experiment. If you have 1 or 2 houses you want to share it with, it may be better to use a directional antenna, just point it to that house. Just because it'll be a lot more efficient that way, and that'll also penetrate the trees a lot better. But a 15 dB external omni antenna, that should pretty much light up everything in the surrounding couple miles.
You're Mr. Wi-Fi. How many people do you share with?
It depends on whether I'm being generous or not. Mostly, there's like 15 different WAPs that are unlocked in my neighborhood, so it's great. So we just sort of, play around with it. If ours is running slow, we try somebody else's. It's good stuff. Awesome. Good luck, Michael.
Thanks for the call, Michael.
Fine. Now here's Leo with a tip for all you web mastery types. Leo?
I'm starting to feel like the Michelin Man. 3rd T-shirt of the week. See, I haven't taken off any of the other ones, though. That's the problem. This one, kind of out of date. He's free! He's free! We won! Anyway, our tip today is for people, again, who are using the web or the Internet. It's kind of the key to the Internet these days is LAMP. You've heard that? Have you heard that acronym? L-A-M-P? It's kind of the 4 things you need to make a great website. Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. Linux, of course, is the operating system. Apache is the web server. MySQL, the database. And PHP, the programming language. Together, you can get incredible dynamic web pages and applications. More and more software is being done in this kind of LAMP configuration. Anytime I'm using MySQL, though, and I have a site with PHP, I'm going to install this program. It's PHP MyAdmin, and it's an easy way to administer your MySQL database. It gives you a graphical user interface to it, so you can create tables, you can create databases, you can modify tables. It's free, phpmyadmin.net. Let me just show you what it looks like when you've got it running on your system. It's really cool because it gives you kind of a simple web-based access. Here's my databases. I can modify the databases. I can even, which is great, construct SQL queries on the database, which makes it very easy to generate SQL queries. And if you're not an expert in SQL and SQL, as I am not, it's very handy to have this. Highly recommend if you're using LAMP and you want to access these SQL databases, these MySQL databases, use MyPHPAdmin. It's free from myphpadmin.net. Back to you guys.
I love MyPHPAdmin. It's good piece of software. Completely free. Thanks, Leo. Now here is Sarah to tell you how to enter our Digital Digs contest.
Enter now to win a $100,000 home tech makeover from G4 Tech TV, brought to you by Circuit City and Yahoo! This week and next, G4 Tech TV is collecting entries to give away a $100,000 home tech makeover in addition to daily cash prizes. So here's how to win. Watch G4 Tech TV, of course, every night from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern, June 14th to June 27th. And then look for our G4 Tech TV Digital Digs $100,000 sweepstakes commercials, which contain G4 Tech TV codes. Every time you see a different code, go to g4techtv.com/digitaldigs to enter. There are 4 new codes every day. The more you enter, the more chances you have to win. For some reason, I just find that funny.
G4 Tech TV.
G4 Tech TV. So stay where you are. Next up, we're going to check our inbox to see what's on your mind, folks. When the screensavers continue.
We're playing a little ball between the breaks.
Yeah.
We are out of time. We wanted to read some emails, but we ran all out of time.
We're going to actually come back tomorrow. We actually got some great suggestions from all of you about ideas for free web editing tools. We'll come back and talk about those tomorrow. But that's it for this edition of the Screensavers.
I'm Kevin Rose.
And I'm Patrick Norton. Thank you for joining us. We'd like to thank our guests, Homayoon Kazerooni and Rick Fox. And we will see you next time. Have a great night.
Have a good night.